The Psychology of Life. Health and Wellness Show. With Dr. Scott Anderson.
But that's the true measure of someone who is going to be successful and well in life and find contentment, is being able to self-analyze and say, this is wrong, and then correcting it and making right what is wrong. But you're not going to do that unless you take accountability for yourself. And you're not going to do that if you're not even in reality. If you're distorting your reality every day by drinking or using or doing stuff like that, how are you going to ever get to that point of seeing things the way they are? Or even wanting to? How are you going to be motivated to change your life and do better? Because don't we work on the pleasure principle? Is it hard to change your life? Yes. Is it uncomfortable to try something new and different? Yes. Is it easy to stay in misery? Yeah, because you just become tolerant of it. You build immunity to it. Or tolerance to it, at least. Why do people stay in horrible relationships that are toxic? Because they've just grown comfortable with it. They just grown comfortable. They become tolerant to it, like alcohol. But when they're forced to make the change and they get free of that, what happens? You hear it all the time. What the hell was I doing for 4 years? I stayed in that horrible relationship. Jesus, what was I thinking? Man, life is 10 times better now. Why did I stay in that? I hear it all the time. All the time. Especially jobs, too. People stay in this miserable job. Why? Because they're afraid of having to find a new job or the lack of security temporarily and stuff. And when they do end up forcing to have to quit, and they end up with a new job, almost 99% of the time, a new, better job, more pay, this and that, less stress, and they think it's the greatest. Then why did you stay in it for 6 years when you knew you should have got out? Because of the pleasure principle. So the pleasure principle can only be beaten with reality and motivation. You got to have that. Otherwise, you just stay in the same garbage. Keep doing the same thing. So, got to wake up. The only way to do that, take action. Do. Sometimes you just got to jump and see where you land, because it can't be any worse. If the building's on fire, I'm gonna take my chances with a jump.
That's why I feel like most of the people fail in addiction is because their environment. Like,
of course.
After they do all these classes,
what's the number one cause of relapse? People, places, and things. It's going back into, same with mental health. Listen, if I take you and you're in a codependent, toxic relationship and I pull you out of there, we get you all fixed up and all this stuff, and then you go back to the environment where you learned all that, what's going to happen? Yeah, we learn that with kids all the time. I have a kids program, and we work with the kids and get them all stable and so on. Then they're back with the parents that caused it in the first place. Inconsistency, unreliability, chaos, dysfunction, hypocrisy. And you expect that kid to just stay, there's nothing wrong with the kid. He's doing exactly what I would expect. It's the environment that's toxic. That's why I say politics, look at the people that are making policies and stuff, couldn't be more vile, disgusting, horrid people. And we don't have control over it to a certain degree. So we're stuck. That's what causes anxiety and stress and feeling overwhelmed and all that other stuff. So we have to secure and stabilize ourselves so that we can inoculate ourselves from that until we can fix it. But if we're running around being under the influence and ignorant and unstable, are we going to do anything about that? Nah. That's why they want you that way. That's easy to manipulate. But people who are aware and stable and strong and articulate and smart and overcoming, you get a whole group of them together, what's going to happen? Ooh, they're out. They're going to be held accountable. So as long as dysfunction is the rule of the land will be dysfunctional. Your choice. But it all starts from the individual. If everybody started tomorrow, if every human being decided today that tomorrow they're going to work on the physical, emotional, cognitive, spiritual, every single person, within months, if everybody stuck to it, what would happen to everything in society? It would be fantastic. Because everybody, literally, if everybody, that's why people, oh, you can't change the world. Yeah, you can. If everybody just decided for themselves to just take care of themselves, that is society. And it would happen instantly. But again, the vast majority of people are ignorant, uneducated, and dysfunctional. And they don't know how. That's why I wanted to explain. What are the steps? If you're reaching that point and you realize I'm sick or I'm not feeling good or I'm borderline, what do I do? How do I fix this? Where do I go? How do I get this information? When's the last time somebody offered you information on how to stabilize and get mentally well? Never? That should be class 101 in every single grade school, junior high, and high school. You should be required to take a wellness course daily. Daily. Every day. Why wouldn't you? And right after, life skills. How to function in life. That's how it used to be.
That would be nice.
Yeah. That would solve all of these things going on. Literally solve them. It's such an easy cure. I've already got the curriculum. I've already got the know-how, the knowledge, the understanding, and how to implement it. Why don't they do it? That's the better question. Why won't they do it? We have the answer. You know, they like to leave, when I say they, the people in charge of that, they like to say, well, we don't know what to do about, the open border. We don't know what to do about inflation. We don't know what, yeah, they do. They caused it. They made it happen. Of course they know what to do. Do the opposite of what you did to cause it. They know that. They're not going to because they benefit from it. That's the question you got to ask. Why? And what can we do? And again, individual, you just have to be awake. You have to be aware. If enough people get awake and aware, they'll change. If there was 9 people against 1, and she was right and we were wrong, who would win?
The wrong people.
We're good to go, right? But let's say over time, she snuck in this guy and this guy. Now it's 3 against 7.
It's a fight.
Who would win? We still win. We're good. We got you. But now she's starting to get to 5 on 5. The second she gets the majority, she doesn't even have the vast majority, just 1 more than us, then guess what happens? The tyranny ends. It's over. And that's the way it should be. See where I'm going?
Yeah.
Doesn't take all. Just a little bit over.
So we can fight.
Yeah. So don't stop fighting. Talk. Wake people up. Give them the right. That's why I say it's important that when you get this info, you pass it on. You when you're well, do other people want to be well? Yeah, because they see you being well and they're like, I want to. Oh, well, that guy's well. He's doing great. He's prosperous. I want to be like that. Do you see it spreads like a virus? Just like negativity can, wellness can. All we need is one person to start, then another person, then that gets 2 people. And that, do you see? There's no difference between good and bad. The message gets spread the same. I'd rather have it for our benefit than for our downfall. It's easy to be negative, isn't it? It's real easy. It's easy to just pile on. I can't do it. I want to be one of the ones that stop that and put the positive, put the cure out there. Because if just one person listens, and they tell somebody, that's 2. And if those 2 people, that's 4. And then it's 8, then it's 16. Pretty soon it's exponential, and it can't be stopped. So I'm going to keep lighting my little forest fires of wellness all over. Sooner or later, one's going to catch, and I'm hoping it turns into a wildfire. So, it will. It will. Sooner or later, it'll stop raining just long enough to catch fire. So, anyways, that's it. Any questions about anything? Do you guys understand what I'm talking about? I mean, it's just a wellness. Yes, ma'am.
The video that you are doing right now, are you going to publish it? And then if you do, is it shareable?
Yes, of course. I put it out there to the public. If you want, you can go to YouTube and you can check it out. It's on a radio station. It's on television. So you'll be able to go to those places. I'll give you, I'll pass out a flyer if you really want all that stuff. Yeah, and it's free. You just go in there and there's a ton of them.
I was going to pay just to listen to you.
No, there's 60 of them for free, and you guys can listen to them at your leisure. They're not all super long. You have access to the full video if you want, but they're short, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and they're all labeled so you can go through and just pick what you want to listen to.
Just
So
my
yeah.
advice, I wish you were for office, become an elected official.
Now, I'm not corrupt and I'm not evil, so that would negate me from running for public
Speak
office.
Like you expose the
Yeah, a lot of people already know. It's just a matter of stopping what's
Viagra
happening.
Instead of heart medication. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm a heretic, so they can't cancel me now. That's why I'm talking about that. But for years, because of licensings and all that other stuff, you can't talk like that because they'll come for you. They'll cancel you. They'll take away your license, your ability to make money. They'll discredit you. They call you. Yeah, absolutely. They do it all the time. And you say, they never do. They do it to every doctor. Any doctor that said, hey, COVID is bullshit and this and that and stuff, they went right after their licenses.
That's crazy.
And now that it's proved true, they still went after their license. They didn't apologize and say, hey, because they're corrupt. So we live in a corrupt system that's built on greed and making money. So, we got to do what we got to do, which is, again, start the wildfire of wellness. If you do that, everything else will fix itself. Evil always loses. See, that's the good thing to remember. You may be all, oh my God, what's going to happen if these evil people keep going? Evil will run out of stuff to wreck, and then it'll burn themselves. Do you see what I mean? They can't control it, so it will eventually take themselves out. And then we'll be left. So I'm telling you, find a way to be fireproof and let them burn themselves out, because they never win. They can't. There's too many good versus the evil. It's a small percentage of evil people. You're looking at a few, maybe 100,000 to a couple 100,000 very evil people in politics and government and all that other stuff against 330 million. There's no way they can win. They have the power, they have the media, they have all the propaganda. But eventually, if everybody just wakes up, did you ever see the movie? They had ants. It's called Ants. And in the movie, there's hornets, and they're the bad guys. And they said, listen, you got to be careful, because if one of these ants find out, because they're like, why are you worried about one ant? Because if he spreads the message enough, all the other ants, and there's 100 to 1 ants versus us. If they find out, we'll end immediately. So we have to keep that one quiet. Well, I'm going to be that one, and you can be that one. And if everybody spreads it fast enough, everybody's going to catch on. And 100 to 1, they can't win. They're going to burn themselves out. It's starting already. Evil always implodes on itself, eventually.
The Psychology of Life. Health and Wellness Show. With Dr. Scott Anderson.